There's a lot of complexity in the world of nutrition and the worlds of social media. Whether you go to YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, everybody seems to be an expert on what you should be eating in order for you to improve your health. And it's complicated. Like when I go onto any of these social media platforms, I get frustrated because every video has a different influencer telling me something slightly different. And having a really solid understanding of nutritional biochemistry and having helped thousands of people, I get a little annoyed with the fact that there's a lot of confusion. And what we want to do at all points is make sure that we can clear up as much confusion as possible to make it as simple as possible to achieve multiple things. Number one, to achieve your ideal body weight. The proportion of people in the United States that are living in an overweight or obese status has now climbed north of 70%. And it is unfortunate, but a lot of that is due to the fact that food manufacturers are not your friends. The pharmaceutical industry is not your friend. Supplement industry is not your friend. And good information is just hard to find. So number one, we want to help you understand how to achieve your ideal body weight, not only today and not only for the next 6 weeks to 3 months, just to fit into that wedding dress, but also so that you can stay at your ideal body weight permanently. I know it may sound like a weird proposition, but trust me, it's true. And then in addition to that, we also want to help you understand how you can control your blood glucose and how to control your lipid panel so that your risk for heart disease is also quite low. And the beauty is that all of them kind of follow in the same philosophy, and it's really not that complicated. So what am I missing, Robby?
Well, I just want to agree with your overall sentiment here, which is that it can get very complicated, which through your PhD experience and all the nuances, like it can get wildly complicated. But for you guys to get the results you're looking for, it also can be very simple, which we have done. We have simplified this approach and you can get amazing results. We see it over and over and over again. So that's what we're here to do. But what we have gathered is 5 frequently asked questions that we are going to go through and make sure that we answer so you guys can take action and get the results you're looking for.
Okay, perfect. So let's start with the first frequently asked question, which is, how important is weight loss when trying to reverse prediabetes or type 2 diabetes? In other words, how much weight do I need to lose in order to actually make the reversal process a reality? There was some very interesting research that was performed in the early 2000s in the New England Journal of Medicine. It tested out whether or not it was more effective to use metformin to lose weight and lower your blood glucose versus lifestyle change to lose weight and lower your blood glucose. And they perform a randomized control trial in multiple centers in a very large number of people. The actual number is evading me as we speak. But this got published in the most coveted scientific journal of all journals in the existence of the scientific literature, the New England Journal of Medicine. And the research paper was extremely clear in what it discovered, which is that when you change your lifestyle, your body weight and risk for diabetes is significantly improved twice as powerfully as when you use metformin. So metformin can also help you lower your body weight and can also help you control your blood glucose. But if you perform lifestyle change, which is make change to your diet and make change to your exercise regimen, you are twice as likely to get benefits, and the benefits are twice as large. So what is the magnitude of change that is necessary in order to help you reverse diabetes? Well, what this paper discovered and what has been replicated multiple times, they've created the beginning of a program called the Diabetes Prevention Program, or the DPP, was very simple, which is that approximately 7% body weight loss is sufficient to get you to a state in which you can reverse type 2 diabetes completely. Now, 7% body weight loss is a percentage based off of your initial weight. And so it's kind of a vague mathematical explanation for how much weight you have to lose. So it's going to be different for everybody because Robby weighs a different amount than I weigh. I weigh a different amount than Colin, who's our producer. Colin weighs a different amount than my wife, Kylie. Kylie weighs a different amount than you. And so the 7% is just a proportion of your existing body weight. And of course, if you're overweight or you're obese, then it becomes a little bit more complicated. But the simple way to think about it is that if you can just take your body weight and you can multiply that by 0.93, which is, a 7% reduction, that will tell you what your body weight could be. And by doing so, you can significantly improve your chances of reversing type 2 diabetes.
It's exciting, Cyrus. It's exciting. And the fun part is that the process of losing weight does not involve restriction. In the Mastering Diabetes method, in order to achieve this 7%, you get to enjoy the foods that you're eating. It's really a beautiful process. So I hope you guys know that.
Now, another thing too is in the Mastering Diabetes book, we actually gave you a explanation of exactly how to calculate your ideal body weight. So it might be worth going through that calculation right now because it can get a little complicated. So a simple way to think about it is that if you are female, the formula is as follows. The first 5 feet of height is equal to 105 pounds. Every inch thereafter is equal to 4 pounds. So let's just say that you are 5'6" and you're trying to calculate your ideal body weight. The first 5 feet is equal to 105 pounds. The next 6 inches is equal to 24 pounds because 6 times 4 equals 24. So you take 105 and you add it to 24 and you end up with 129 pounds. That right there is your ideal body weight if you are 5'6". Now, if you are male, the calculation goes, the first 5 feet of height is equal to 115 pounds, and then every inch thereafter is equal to 5 pounds. So if you are a 5'10" male, that would mean that the first 5 feet is equal to 115 pounds. The next 10 inches is equal to 10 times 5, which is 50. So you take 50 and you add it to 115, and you end up with 165. Okay. So you can use this basic calculation to come up with a simple measurement of what your ideal body weight could be. And when you can get to that level of detail, you can say, all right, well, I calculated my ideal body weight is supposed to be 185 pounds, but I'm at 212. Well, that tells you that in order to get to 185 pounds, you're going to have to lose approximately, what's the number, 27 pounds, right? Susie from Arizona says, 5 feet 2 inches. That's how tall I am. So does that mean that I'm going to be 105 pounds plus every foot equals 4 pounds? So it's almost, Susie. Let's do the calculation together. Okay. If you're 5 feet 2 inches, that means the first 5 feet of height is equal to 105 pounds. And then the next 2 inches equals 4 pounds plus 4 pounds. So that would mean your ideal body weight, according to this calculation, is 105 plus 4 plus 4, which is 105 plus 4, which is 8. So it's 113 pounds. Now, you can take that number. A lot of people, when they do this calculation, they're like, are you kidding me? I haven't been 113 pounds since high school. There's no way I can get there. Take that number. You can add another 10 pounds to it if you want. If you are finding that that's a little bit too aggressive, that's totally fine. So your ideal body weight in this calculation would be somewhere between 113 and 123 pounds. And if you can kind of target somewhere in that range, then you're going to be closer to your ideal body weight for sure. Use that as a basic calculation. If any of this seems a little bit Greek to you, then pick up a copy of the Mastering Diabetes book. Just go to Amazon, grab a copy of it, as you can see on the screen right there, and that can help set you on your way for sure.
There's no question this could help set you on your way. People could also check out our audiobook, Cyrus. We read the book ourselves, and we added in some extra material in there. It was really fun. So if you like listening to audiobooks while you're exercising or doing laundry, walking your dog, it's a great resource.
I didn't actually read it. I just hired an AI robot to do it for me.
That robot did a great job. It sounds a lot like you.
Technology's come a long way, let me tell you. Okay, question number 2 here. What should I do if I've been trying to lose weight for a while and I haven't seen any results? All right, what if I've hit a plateau? At that point, what am I supposed to do? Robbie, what would you say if somebody asked you this question?
Okay, so we hear this a lot, especially when people get on the phone to speak with one of our enrollment specialists and they're asking questions and considering being a part of our coaching program. And so what we find in the vast majority of cases, there are always some exceptions, and our coaches are great at dealing with exceptions, but the vast majority of cases is that there's something about implementing the method you're just missing. It's that you're not, it's not intentional. It's an unintentional oversight. And when you get guidance and you get support and you have an experienced coach looking at the details of what you're doing, 99% of the time, we find the solution and we will help you get over that plateau, get that snowball rolling again. And you're going to gain a lot of confidence quite quickly when you have a team, a coach, other people supporting you, and you really get to do it properly. Sometimes maybe you lost some weight, you had some success, and that's because you picked the low-hanging fruit, right? But then to get to that next level, there's a little bit more optimization, and having guidance in doing that is invaluable.
Let's go back to the previous question here. Susie from Arizona says, 5 feet 2 inches. That's how tall I am. So does that mean that I'm going to be 105 pounds plus every foot equals 4 pounds? So it's almost, Susie. Let's do the calculation together. Okay. If you're 5 feet 2 inches, that means the first 5 feet of height is equal to 105 pounds. And then the next 2 inches equals 4 pounds plus 4 pounds. So that would mean your ideal body weight, according to this calculation, is 105 plus 4 plus 4, which is 105 plus 4, which is 8. So it's 113 pounds. Now, you can take that number. A lot of people, when they do this calculation, they're like, are you kidding me? I haven't been 113 pounds since high school. There's no way I can get there. Take that number. You can add another 10 pounds to it if you want. If you are finding that that's a little bit too aggressive, that's totally fine. So your ideal body weight in this calculation would be somewhere between 113 and 123 pounds. And if you can kind of target somewhere in that range, then you're going to be closer to your ideal body weight for sure.
I love that.
But going back to what you're saying, Robby, put a little bit more focus here on the actual food, because in the world of weight loss in particular, there's this huge focus on, eating a ketogenic diet or eating a low carbohydrate diet or eating a carnivore diet, because carbs are the enemy. Carbs are bad for you, right? So people have been brainwashed to believe that any type of carbohydrate, whether it's a potato or a potato chip, or whether it's a banana or whether it's a plate of white rice, all of that is bad for you. And it's going to cause an insulin spike, and that's going to cause your blood glucose to go high. And it's going to cause your body weight to go high. What would you say about that?
Yes, I wrote about this in the book in detail. The concept of calorie density is very important. It's actually essential to understand in the process of reaching your ideal body weight. So calorie density is a concept of basically how many calories are in any given weight of food. And calorie density is a constant. It remains the same no matter how much of that food you are consuming. So the most calorie dense food on the planet is oil of any kind. That's 4,000 calories per pound. So per pound is the way to have a consistent measurement across the board. The least calorie dense food I could find in the USDA nutrient database is watercress. I believe that was like 56 calories per pound, something like that. Some super low. I think it was 46. I have to double check. But the key point here at Mastering Diabetes, what makes us different and why we see such extraordinary results in our program, is we use the powerful benefits of fruit to help you lose weight. Fruit is very satisfying in the fact that you can eat larger quantities of it, and it's very sweet, has a lot of water, a lot of fiber. So water plus fiber equals bulk, and that's what's going to keep you satisfied, but has a naturally low calorie density. So our combination of adding a generous amount of fruits plus starchy vegetables, so things like potatoes, yams, butternut squash, and intact whole grains and beans and lentils, those foods, they end up being roughly around, call it like 500 calories per pound. Fruits on average are going to be more like 300. This is like the sweet spot. And adding in that extra fruit gets you the satiety you're looking for, but helps you reduce calories without feeling like you are sacrificing anything and without going hungry. And that helps us allow people to reach their weight loss goals. It also helps you gain more energy. When you're getting the really powerful, the glucose plus the fiber, water, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, this package can help you gain the energy to start moving your body in a way that you really enjoy. And things just start to compound. And that's why we get such amazing results at Mastering Diabetes.
Agreed. 100%. 100%. This is great. So let's go back a little bit to another question here that we see quite frequently. How long does it take to see results in my blood glucose and my body weight? And more importantly, how can I stay sane in the meantime, right? If I were to change my diet the way that you guys suggest, is this going to take me a year in order to get to my ideal body weight? Or is this something that I can start to achieve and see results in the short term? A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the first month, you name it, okay? So the truth is that the results can come very quickly. In fact, they come way quicker than you might think. And the reason I say that is because we've worked with, again, over 10,000 people in person, and we've seen over and over and over again that when you just make that one change that Robby had just suggested, which is to start eating foods that are lower in calorie density and effectively eat more green light foods, is the way we like to refer to it. When you do that, then that one single change has such a powerful impact on multiple endocrine systems. It has a very powerful impact on your liver, a powerful impact on your cardiovascular system, a powerful impact on your muscles. And the net result of that is, number one, lower blood glucose right off the bat. Number two, rapid weight loss. When I say rapid, I mean the first couple of weeks can usually be 2 to 3 pounds per week. And then over the course of the next few weeks after that, your body weight tends to normalize, but you can still lose weight at about 1 to 2 pounds per week. So what that means is that usually people end up losing about 8 to 10 pounds just in the first month of adopting the Mastering Diabetes method. And then from that point onwards, they end up losing something like 4 to 6 pounds per month after that. So even though that may sound like a really long time frame, the truth is that if you do this for 3 months, you can expect that you're going to be losing somewhere between 20 and 25 pounds. Okay. That's pretty awesome. If you ask me, like that's fast weight loss. Okay. But the key is, if I'm claiming that you can lose 20 to 25 pounds in the first 3 months, which is a true statement, the question is it going to rebound in the next 3 months? Are you going to go right back up? And the answer to that is yes and no. Yes, if you revert to your old habits. Yes, if you fight with the process. Yes, if you don't fall in love with the foods that you're eating and really put a lot of effort into enjoying your new lifestyle. Yes, if you're only looking at this as a thing that I'm going to do to lose weight so I can get into that dress because I'm in my friend's wedding coming up in July. And then as soon as that happens, I'm going to go back to eating ice cream and potato chips and red meat. If you approach it with that mentality, then the answer is sure, you can lose the weight, but then you're going to gain the weight right back. We also recently did an entire piece on Ozempic, which is a GLP-1 receptor agonist, which is a medication that's now being prescribed for people who are not living with diabetes. This is even though this is a diabetes drug, and people are using Ozempic to lose a tremendous amount of body weight. I said earlier, 7% was their ideal body weight target. People are using Ozempic and losing 16% of their body weight. But the problem is that the minute you stop injecting Ozempic on a weekly basis, well, guess what happens? Your body weight starts to climb back up again, and you return to your starting weight. And sometimes you can go a little bit higher, right? So it's very important to understand that, yes, fast results are possible. But more important than fast results are sustained results over the course of months to years, okay? The most important thing that you can do as an individual when you are changing your lifestyle is to fall in love with the process of lifestyle change. I want you to love every single thing that you do. And if you don't love something, that's okay, but work on it. Ask yourself why you don't love it, and then turn it into something that is enjoyable, okay? Stop worrying about what the end goal is. Don't only change your lifestyle because you're trying to hit a particular number on the scale. Change your lifestyle because you enjoy it so much, and the foods that you're eating are fun, and the exercise that you're performing are fun, and the fasting that you're doing is fun. And then the number on the scale just becomes something that's very achievable, but it's no longer the reason why you're doing it. You have to enjoy the day-to-day process, which can sometimes feel monotonous and boring and repetitive and unattractive, but that's okay. If you can just get used to it and really start to feel comfortable with what generally feels uncomfortable, then I can guarantee you that loving the process will take away this feeling of not being able to get to your end goal. It'll completely transform the way that you think, and you will see such tremendous positive change within your own body and within your mind that right there is what's going to take you to the finish line.
I couldn't agree with that more, Cyrus. Like you got to love the process. And I will say, the foods you get to eat when following the Mastering Diabetes method, I don't think you're going to get bored of that. I don't think that part's not going to feel monotonous. Maybe the exercise, something potentially, but like our food is incredible. The amount of different varieties you're going to get to learn how to eat, how to prepare your food differently, the colors, it's just fantastic. So look forward to that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no questions asked. No questions asked. All right. Here's the next question. Will I ever stop craving unhealthy foods or foods that I'm used to eating? Okay. And more importantly, if I do, am I allowed to have a cheat day every once in a while? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I know we're not big fans of cheat days here, Cyrus.
Yeah. Why?
I've heard you talk about that a lot. I know you have a strong opinion on this one. Just like Cyrus said, when you find an approach that is sustainable, you naturally love it. Like you don't want to get away from things that you love that make you feel good. And your taste buds absolutely do change. And I personally, I crave things like arugula. Like I get excited to have some arugula. I think for most people, the most challenging part will be that you might still crave high fat plant-based foods. You might still crave more avocado than is good for your weight loss goals. You might crave more nuts and seeds are good for your weight loss goals. That can be challenging. But things like the people who, oftentimes come into our program in the beginning, it's like, oh, I can't get away from the McDonald's drive-thru. Like it just keeps calling me. That can genuinely go away. Like you get to a point where you're like, no way in heck will I ever consume that stuff again. Like I do not see that as food at all. And you completely get away from that. So that's absolutely possible. And setting goals, putting yourself in the right environment, having accountability is what helps you reach your goals and helps you remind yourself in that moment that whatever is in front of you that is not going to help you reach your goals is not as valuable as actually reaching your goals. And your mindset starts to shift. And that's the benefit of, again, being a part of our community.
Yeah, you hit it on the head, actually, because when people ask me all the time, they're like, come on, man, can I just have a cheat day? Can I just go eat that ice cream? Can I have some cookies or maybe a brownie? Like, I really love it. I've been such a good guy. I've been such a good girl for the last week. I just want to have one meal. And my answer to them is always like, listen, you could absolutely cheat, but I'd rather you cheat on food that you not only enjoy eating, but food that's actually green light. Okay. So as an example, if you love ice cream, right? Don't go to Baskin-Robbins and get ice cream. Don't go to the grocery store and get a bunch of dairy ice cream. Make what's called nice cream in your house. You can take bananas and put them in the freezer. Then you can blend them and it turns into unbelievably tasty ice cream. You can then take that and you can add some cocoa powder to it. And then it turns into chocolate ice cream. You can then blend that with a little bit of cherries and then it becomes a cherry chocolate ice cream. You can do all types of inventive whole food creations that mimic comfort foods that you have eaten likely your whole life. And if you fall in love with that process of making these types of substitutions, then when you go to quote unquote cheat, you're actually getting healthier, right? So what I would say is when I first transitioned to eating a whole food plant-based diet, the gentleman that helped me out, his name was Dr. Doug Graham. And he and I had this joke, and I think he's told us a lot of people. He goes, you know what? I have a cheat day every single day. In fact, I have a cheat day every single meal because I eat the foods that I love. And these foods are actually healthy for me. So yeah, great. I eat dessert for breakfast every single day. And I've been doing that every day for the last 40 years. Right. So if you can kind of reframe it and say, all right, well, how do I genuinely become healthier while eating foods that I enjoy? The Venn diagram of foods which I'm supposed to eat and foods which I enjoy eating become the same. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, now you're cheating every single meal and you're actually getting healthier.
Exactly right. I mean, I genuinely feel that way, Cyrus, like 100%. And I definitely, personally spend the time to find the best produce, invest in the best produce. And when you do that, it literally tastes like dessert. It's pretty special.
No doubt. It's absolutely true.
Hey, I'm Cyrus Khambatta, co-creator of the Mastering Diabetes Method, which has helped thousands of people reverse insulin resistance and take control of their lives no matter what type of diabetes they're living with. Do you want to know all of our tips, tricks, and secrets? They're right here in our New York Times best-selling book, Mastering Diabetes, which you can find at masteringdiabetes.org/book. If you're ready to master diabetes, pick up a copy today. You won't be disappointed.
Okay, so I think there's a question in the chat box. It says, this comes from a Facebook user. I'm 84. Congratulations. That's amazing. I'm 5'10" and I only weigh 150 pounds. How do I gain muscle? All right. This is a great question. So I talked about this in a different video, but I'll reiterate it here. When it comes to gaining muscle, a lot of people think that the way to gain muscle is just to sit down and eat a plate of food that contains a lot of protein, as if just eating protein-rich foods is going to somehow magically put muscle on your shoulders and your chest and your abs, and then you're going to look like a bodybuilder, right? A lot of people have this perception that muscle is built on your plate. And the answer is muscle is not built by simply eating foods that are rich in protein. It's also not built by eating excessive amounts of calories. That is something that you can do to gain mass. But if you're looking specifically to gain muscle, then you're going to have to do something else first. And that other thing that you have to do first before you just sit down and eat food, you have to use your musculature to induce a state known as hypertrophy. Okay. And hypertrophy effectively means a complicated biological super nerd term for using your musculature and creating a state of advanced muscle. When you get into the hypertrophic state, you're using your musculature to a point where it now has to adapt in order to become stronger to resist that same amount of work the next time. Okay. So as an example, if I got down on the floor and I tried to knock out 100 push-ups, okay, over the course of the next, call it hour, okay, that might be challenging. So if I were to tell you your goal is to try and knock out 100 push-ups, you might be like, oh, 100 push-ups? I haven't done 100 push-ups since high school, right? Okay. If you were to try and do that, what would end up happening is that your chest muscles, who haven't been used for a long period of time, would, over the course of that 100 push-ups, go into a hypertrophic state, meaning that you would put so much work into them that they would eventually get to a point where they were experiencing micro tears, and then those micro tears have to get repaired. And when those micro tears get repaired, then the muscle becomes stronger. The muscle becomes stronger. You then continue to eat more food. That food can then repair the muscle tissue and grow the muscle tissue, and then you can end up gaining weight over the course of time. Okay, so hypertrophy must exist first, and then you can eat food. And especially if you're eating foods that are green light foods that are actually high in carbohydrate energy, you will find that your ability to gain muscle is much higher than you might believe. And as a result of that, inducing hypertrophy plus eating a low-fat, plant-based whole food diet can be a very powerful combination for gaining mass and for gaining muscle. But again, most people think, well, it's all about protein, protein, protein. And don't get me wrong, protein absolutely helps. But you can't just eat protein by itself, nor can you just eat a bunch of carbohydrate by itself. You got to go use your musculature first. And when you do that, then you're creating a state where your muscle tissue is actually hungry. It's asking for nutrients, and then those nutrients can go rebuild the muscle tissue so that they're stronger for the next time.
100%. I mean, Cyrus, I think you're a great example of building muscle, because when you started out, I remember you telling stories about how your friends were like, hey, man, like, why are you so thin right now? Totally. And then you've turned that around. So clearly a living, breathing example of this point.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I forgot about that, truth be told. But you're right. When I started this process, I was 160 pounds. Okay. And then I switched over to eating a low-fat, plant-based whole food diet. I went from 160 to 156 to 152 to 148. So I lost 12 pounds. And the reason for that was because I literally did not know how much food I had to eat. Okay. Then my friends were like, yo, hold on. What are you doing to yourself, man? You look frail. You got to put on some muscle. What's going on? So then I recognized that the work that I was doing at the gym was very helpful, but yet I just simply wasn't eating enough food. So I began to eat a little bit more food. I added to slightly increase my protein intake just a little bit. And I went from being 148 pounds back up to 160, back up to 163, which is where I am now. So I ended up gaining back those 12 pounds plus another 3 pounds. As you can see, the photo of me on the screen right here was made by artificial intelligence. I don't look anything like, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that photo was taken of me actually back in 2017. I'm actually slightly bigger than that at this point. But the idea here is that gaining muscle is something that's very doable, but you just have to have the right strategy. You have to go make sure you use your musculature first, and then you have to refill the calorie tank that you depleted. And when you do it that way, you can certainly gain mass. And if you're consistent about that, and you're doing that multiple times per week without injuring yourself, you can get to a point where you're making significant gains in both mass as well as muscle tissue. And that right there is a good thing.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head there with saying you got to have the right strategy. And I'm going to add, you're going to benefit from accountability. You're really going to benefit from accountability. When people come into our coaching program, part of the process of enrolling is making a commitment. You are making a commitment, and we are establishing a guarantee together. It's like, okay, you want this result? Okay, great. You're going to commit to doing these activities, and those include moving your body. And if you don't, then okay, well, then the guarantee is kind of like void, right? Like you have to do it. And so when you make that commitment and you have invested in yourself, that's how you get the best results.
There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. And, you know, it's really amazing, actually. I would say the majority of the people that join our coaching program, ironically enough, are very skeptical that it can work, right? They saw Robby on a YouTube live 3 weeks ago, or they attended the Blood Sugar Revolution Summit and they listened to other people talk about it. Maybe they read part of the Mastering Diabetes book, and they get filled with knowledge, but also skepticism at the same time, because they come to us and they say, well, if you guys were right, then why does everybody else say the opposite? If you're right, then why does Paul Saladino tell me that I should be eating bull testicles, red meat, and eggs on a daily basis? And I'm not even joking when I say that. Okay. Why do I have other carnivore doctors telling me that I should be eating multiple pounds of red meat and white meat and adding dairy products to my diet every single day? And that's the way to actually become to have my most optimal health. Are they right, or are you right? Or is there a different approach for every single person? So generally speaking, people come into this and they're sort of like, well, okay, like I want to believe that this is true, but I'm not sure that this is true. And trust me, I've tried everything. I've tried everything. I tried every diet that you can possibly think of: the Atkins diet, the zone diet, the paleo diet, the ketogenic diet, a vegetarian diet, the Mediterranean diet, you name it. I've tried every single one of them and nothing works. And we say to them, okay, cool. I believe you. I 100% believe you. There's no question about it, right? But what we do, the service that we provide, is not a diet. I don't want you to think of it as though I'm trying to put you on a diet. It's the farthest thing from a diet. We are going to help you identify what are the habits in your lifestyle that's creating the health that you have right now. Okay? Your lifestyle is perfectly designed to get you the results that you currently have. Everything that you do on a daily basis, every food that you eat, every exercise that you perform, every word that comes out of your mouth is perfectly designed to get you the result that you currently are getting right now. And what we do is we help you identify what are the habits that are going to transform your physical body, your emotional body, and your mental body into being a healthier state. How are we going to get you there? Okay. What are the foods that we can integrate into your lifestyle that are going to have a massive impact? What are the exercises, and how frequently would you perform those exercises? Do you need intermittent fasting? If so, let's talk about it and let's try and get you into a regular intermittent fasting strategy. Are you documenting your lifestyle using a pen and paper or using an app? If so, how are you doing it? Let's get you to a point where you can document it properly. Is your stress level extremely high? What about your alcohol intake? Are you smoking cigarettes? All of these things come to the surface, right? So effectively, we're like a lifestyle therapist, if you will. You come to us and we basically say, all right, here's a list of all the habits which we know will have a massive impact on every aspect of your life. So one by one, over the course of a 6 to 12 month program, we're going to walk you through every single tiny microscopic change. We're going to hold your hand as we go from one change to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And as you make these what seemingly ridiculous changes that can't possibly have an effect, where you're, eating a little bit of lettuce before you eat some potatoes, like tiny little changes, they have a huge effect. And before you know it, you then come back to us and you go, hey guys, what the heck just happened? My glucose just fell by 30 points. My fasting blood glucose is normally in the 140s and all of a sudden it's 117. What happened? We go, hey, it's a system that's working. And then you come back to us and you go, hey, by the way, in the last month, I lost 6 pounds. What the heck just happened? You go, hey, the system's working. And then you come back to us and you go, hey, by the way, I'm sleeping better for the first time in the last decade. I've gotten 4 nights of high quality sleep and I haven't felt this good in a long time. We go, hey, the system's working, right? So the idea here is that there's a laundry list of things which we're going to try and help you change over the course of time. And there are some things that pertain to food, some things that pertain to exercise, some things that pertain to your thought patterns, some things that pertain to your sleeping patterns and beyond. But over the course of time, there is a 100% guarantee that you're going to become significantly healthier. It's just that simple. Okay.
No question. No question about it. What's our next question, Cyrus?
I think that's it. Okay, so here's a question. Somebody says, the coaching seems like it's a bit overwhelming. And, is this really worth it for me? How do I know if the coaching program is worth it? What would you say to that?
Okay. Well, I would ask yourself a question. I think it's an opportunity to have a little bit of a self-awareness and self-conversation. You look yourself in the mirror and you're like, okay, how much is my health worth to me? Like, how important is, like, I know it's a cliche statement, but nothing means more than your health. You have all this success in your career and money, and you can have a great family and an amazing life with your partner and all this stuff. But if you're not healthy, you can't enjoy any of it. If you're not well, you're not going to be present. You're not going to be in your best mood. You're not going to be in your best mental state. You're going to be sleeping all the time. You're going to be doing the doctor's appointments all the time. You have a risk of a heart attack, which could take out your life at any moment. Like, this is just, it's not worth it. So I think it's got to be the highest priority. And I think oftentimes a lot of people, I think especially women who are such caregivers, take care of others before themselves. And then we all pay a price. So at some point you got to invest in yourself, and you got to understand that when you do that and you make these changes, you're building habits for the rest of your life. It's an investment that reaps rewards for many, many, many years to come until the day when it is time to pass on. So I would say it's absolutely worth it. It's worth every penny.
Great. I love it. I love it. So if you're interested in joining the coaching program and getting guaranteed results, and I do mean guaranteed results, let me put on my sales pitch here for a second. All you have to do is just go to masteringdiabetes.org/start. Okay. You can see it on the screen, masteringdiabetes.org/start. Just go there and you basically choose a time to speak with a member of our team. Okay. We are then going to have a personal conversation with you. It's a real human being, and we're going to do everything we can to understand exactly what it is that has worked and what hasn't worked for you in your existing lifestyle and your past. And we're going to together come up with a game plan that will work 100% of the time, because it's based off of your responses, your lifestyle, your preferences, and your unique metabolic health. So just give us information and fill out the form, which takes you a grand total of about 90 seconds. We'll meet with you and we'll see if we can help you out. If we feel like we can match you up with a coach that's going to be a good fit for you, then we'll invite you to be part of the coaching program. But if we feel like you don't have the right mentality or the right personality characteristics, we'll still do whatever we can. But a coaching spot may not be the right thing for you. We're truly here to help, and we want to make sure that we can provide you with the best education and the best accountability possible. And we have a pretty darn good track record of doing so. So if you're ready to go, then we're here for you.
Yeah, I want to read this comment on the screen, Cyrus. It says, Susie here. Coaching program is awesome. Been part of small group since last August. Lost 26 pounds. Goal is to reverse type 2 and get off Lantus and Ozempic. That's fantastic. You're on your way. And she wants to know where she can watch the Ozempic video that you referenced earlier, Cyrus.
Perfect. Okay, so the Ozempic video is actually on YouTube. It was just posted in the last week. And what you can do is go to youtube.com and then in the search bar, type in Mastering Diabetes Ozempic. If you just type that in, it'll pop right up. It's actually, I think, an hour-long video or something along those lines. And I go into a lot of detail here about what is Ozempic, what's the research behind it, does it work, does it not work, what are the alternatives, yada, yada, yada. So if you're interested in that, then please check that out. And Susie, I'm so glad to hear that you're in the coaching program and you've lost 26 pounds. That's amazing. Just make sure that your coach knows that you are using Ozempic. If your coach does not know about that, then please let them know. We're here to help you out, but we can help you devise a regimen that doesn't rely on Ozempic. And over the course of time, we can wean you off of Ozempic and you can still continue to lose weight. And Ozempic can just be a thing of the past. And also Lantus can be a thing of the past. We see it all the time and we're here to help you. So just be as honest as possible with your coach and we'll make sure that we can do whatever we can.
Yeah. So we have another comment that came up and I want to address this, but I also want to say for anybody listening here, you're like, oh, I'd like to learn more about coaching and booking a call. You could write the word start. If you just write the word start in the comment section of this, we'll have a team member reach out to you and get you more information. So that could be an easier way to navigate this. Just write the word start. If you're like, yeah, I think I'm ready. And this comment on the screen is very important. This commenter says, I did this coaching program years ago. It's amazing. I actually feel like signing up again as I have been slipping lately. So I really hope you write the word start because you got to talk to an enrollment specialist. And this is something we are very passionate about. We see our program as, in a lot of ways, an insurance policy. Like the accountability of the community is worth it as a long-term investment. It really is. It's kind of like, joining the gym to a certain extent. Like you're going to keep using it. You're going to keep benefiting from it. The accountability, the new goals you're setting, the new things you're learning. We're debunking all these new myths that keep on coming up when it comes to nutrition. It's a very, very special, supportive environment. and it helps you in your ongoing success. I think about, coaching in so many different areas of life, and the most successful people in the world have coaches ongoing, right? I mean, you think of, I don't know, tennis players, Novak Djokovic, right? They have a coach, right? One of the greatest players in the world, Rafael Nadal, one of the greatest players ever to live. He's an ongoing coach. They have, physios. They have all these people around them. They don't just like gather the knowledge and just go off on their own. You could do that. Sometimes that works, but the ability to stick with the program and navigate the challenging environment we have, there's nothing better than being a part of our coaching program. And we're very proud of it. So I hope you join and come back and have some fun with us.
There's also another question here, right here. Perfect. I find the most of the information is in the basic information group is geared towards type 2. I am type 1 and I use a pump and a CGM. How can I get help? All right. This is an amazing question. So
just as a reminder for anybody who's watching this and doesn't know, because we didn't really do an introduction, Cyrus and I are both living with type 1 diabetes. We have many coaches who are living with type 1 diabetes, which I think Cyrus is about to show you.
Yep.
We consider ourselves both leading experts on the topic of maximizing insulin sensitivity while living with type 1 diabetes.
Just like Robby was saying, I have type 1 diabetes, Robby has type 1 diabetes, and we actually designed the program specifically for people living with type 1, and then we evolved the program into also helping people who have non-insulin dependent or type 2 diabetes. Now, in addition to us, we have a whole team of coaches, and our coaches span a wide range of specialties. Some of them are nurses like Kylie Buckner, my wife. Some of them are certified diabetes care and education specialists like Wendy. She's also living with type 1 diabetes. And Wendy is a phenomenal coach in our program, and she has been able to help hundreds of people living with type 1. In addition to her, we also have a few other coaches here who are insulin dependent masters. We have Paula Allison, who's also effectively a certified diabetes care and education specialist. And then Sharon Scarlett herself is living with type 1 diabetes, and she knows insulin injections and insulin management inside and out. So that's a total of 3, plus me and Robby is 4 and 5. And then we also have Linda, who is living with insulin-dependent monogenic diabetes, which is a different form of diabetes, but she injects insulin. She understands insulin use inside and out, and is able to coach hundreds of clients also to significantly improved health with the use of insulin. So if you're looking for somebody who can help you out with insulin-dependent diabetes, just like Robby was saying, we believe that we are some of the world's experts in type 1 diabetes and basically insulin management in particular.
For sure.
So if you are looking for help specifically with type 1 diabetes or with insulin management, then let us know. Again, go to masteringdiabetes.org/start, or literally just type the word start in the chat box and we'll have somebody reach out to you. We are very, very, very good at insulin management. Very good at it. Take a chance and see what type of value we can add to your life, because I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
100%. And I'm also excited to announce that we have one additional coach, Jessica Stidham, who is also living with type 1 diabetes and helping people really understand, because she's got an amazing turnaround herself, lost a lot of weight, and is just living her best life, fit as ever, and really inspiring. So she's a fun coach to work with, another expert on this topic. And this has been a lot of fun, Cyrus.
Yeah, it's been great. I appreciate you guys all being here. Any parting words?
Parting words. Thank you for your interest. Time to take action. I mean, that's what we care about the most. We are just so about getting results. Just having you guys appear on a video or watch one of our videos and not do anything with the information is kind of disappointing. What's the point? We want you to take action. So make sure to book your discovery call. Just write start in the chat box. We're going to reach out to you, help you out, and let's have you be a testimonial on a future video. All right. Look at that. Just started working with Jessica. She's great. That's fantastic. I love it. Very good. Very good. Cool.
Beautiful. All right, kids. Thanks so much for being here today. We will catch you the next time. And in the meantime, go eat some mangoes, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, everybody.
All right. See you guys.